talent
Bring them back.
She was unstoppable.
to teenage terrors.
I wanted you off the rails.
I really was a party girl.
What happened?
We've got minors with millions
I want to be a billionaire.
How can you be normal?
and careers that disappeared.
Would you draw my words?
They don't expect you to get older.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could be just like that?
Good evening and welcome to 20 to 1. Tonight we're celebrating the lives and fortunes of 20 celebrities who reached great heights before they reached great height. Some of these child stars became household names, loved forever, while others went on to become obscure answers in a trivia quiz. And we start tonight's countdown with a cute boy whose agent probably wished he could stay young forever.
I'm a kid, that's my job.
And what a job it was. Earning $8 million a year, 9-year-old Macaulay Culkin shot to fame when he was left home alone.
The first movies that made child abandonment amusing.
They should never have left him home alone with Michael Jackson. That's what all went wrong.
Like Jackson, Macaulay had few friends his own age. The situation made worse by an ambitious stage father.
I did about 14 films in like 6-7 years. Half the time was on the road. You know, I didn't even know where one movie ended and the other one began.
By 14, Macaulay had had enough and turned his back on Hollywood.
What did you think you were going to do with the rest of your life?
I had no idea, nor did I care, really. I kind of just wanted to be a teenager who just, you know, go out and have some fun, really.
But Macaulay had a little too much fun, hitting the spotlight again in 2004.
Former child star Macaulay Culkin is in hot water, arrested on drugs charges in Oklahoma.
Oh, he went a bit off the rails.
I believe last year he got a phone call from Drew Barrymore saying, pull your head in. And when you get that phone call from Drew Barrymore, you know you've pushed the boat out.
You got the cutest little baby.
He's saddled with a very childish face. That's the problem. It's hard to believe that he's in his 20s, but he looks about 10.
He even tried to make an attempt to do a Broadway play with mediocre success. He probably has got the talent, but people just won't let him make that change into adult star.
I hope someone one day gives him something that he can be good at, because he was such a cute kid.
Next up, a young actor not afraid to get his wand out in public. Appearing magically at number 19 is Daniel Radcliffe, whose casting as Harry Potter at age 11 spelled fame and fortune.
I read the first 2 books, and I have since then completely forgotten everything about it.
How lucky to have been selected for that role and to get it and to be able to fulfil it. That's a serious break in your career.
The hype of this movie. What do you think of it?
Fantastic, it's very cool.
There have been so many of those Harry Potter movies that he's actually been allowed to grow up within the role.
You can do magic.
5 films, 7 years, and $40 million later, the boy wizard felt like a change.
Didn't he recently do a stage play of Equus where he nuded up, smoked and had sex with a horse? And people were more appalled by the fact that Harry Potter smoked than the other 2.
Wasn't he like 5, like a year ago? What happened?
I think that's great, though. I think that's exactly what he needs to do. He went back to his roots. He went back to where they found him, in the theatre. And, you know, what's wrong with that?
More recently, Daniel pulled on some clothes and an impressive new accent for his role in the Aussie film December Boys.
How you going?
Not as good as Daniel, who is now one of the richest young people in England. If there really was such a thing as a magic wand, we all know what this next little girl would use it for: to bring back her dad. At number 18, it's brave Bindi Irwin, thrust into the spotlight after losing her father, crocodile hunter Steve.
She is just an amazing child. She's going to make her mum and dad proud.
I just like the feeling of all the people actually cheering for me and saying, B&D, B&D.
With a Bindi clothing line and TV shows, the bank manager is cheering too.
I have no doubt she'll follow her father's footsteps, but I would still be plugging away for a bit more of a normal life for her at this point.
Crikey!
I've seen many child stars that have grown up and have been totally lost because the only thing they know how to do is entertain. And when nobody wants them because they've grown up, it's a very big abyss to cross.
From little things, big things grow.
They're just not a standard, normal, suburban family. They're sort of a circus family. Life is and was all about the show.
I'm really focusing on getting my singing and dancing to a higher level.
One side of me says maybe Bindi chill out for a little bit, but then the other side of me thinks that, hey, what an amazing young girl. That speech she did at her father's funeral was just waterworks.
My daddy was my hero. He was always there for me when I needed him.
Seeing Bindi stand there and read this extraordinary heartfelt message about her father,
I had the best daddy in the whole world.
to be able to do it and deliver it with such composure was extraordinary.
For anyone to lose their daddy, you know, that young, you can only just hope the rest of their life is magical.
Now, what happens when a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls meets a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own? You end up with a bunch of child stars.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
Coming together at number 17, it's the Brady Bunch. 6 small stars of the small screen who we love like our own family.
Everyone at a different stage in their life could relate to one of the brothers or the sisters.
There was almost an element of saying, wouldn't it be nice if we could be just like that?
But it wasn't always as it seemed on screen.
Well, that went from squeaky clean to a bit irky, didn't it? With the whole Carol Brady and Greg thing.
Oh, yeah. Greg was pretty pleased that he dated Mrs. Brady, wasn't he?
Gosh, you all grew up thinking it was happy families, and it was a bit too happy for my liking.
We all dated one another. Bobby and Cindy dated, and Peter and Jan dated, and Marcia and Greg dated.
And Marcia and Jan dated too, according to a new book by Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia.
All these things going on, we didn't know about it. That would have made a great show if we knew all that back in those days.
The series only lasted 5 years, but since then, the kids who played Bobby, Cindy, Peter, Jan, Greg, and Marcia have left behind the Brady innocents. 10 years ago, Mike Lookenland, that's Bobby, got done for drink driving.
That's a good picture of him on a feature story, too.
But his TV sisters, Jan and Cindy, stayed out of trouble. For the others, reality TV beckoned. First up, Greg, in celebrity karaoke and boxing. Marcia lost weight, publicly.
116 pounds.
And Peter met the winner of America's Next Top Model on one reality show and married her on another.
Of course everyone grows up and moves on, yet we still think of them in that era and in that show. I mean, that's really challenging for anyone to have to try and deal with.
That's the way they became the Brady Bunch.
Still to come on 20 to 1.
It was Fat Kid Mania.
You can rap master it.
He's done well, hasn't he?
I knew that this was an exceptional performer.
A lot of people didn't know that he was acting.
Thank you.
I've just finished recording my album.
Oh, I wanted you off the rails.
Welcome back to 20 to 1. At number 16, it's Matthew Kroc. Don't know who he is? Well, he was better known as the fat kid from Hey Dad. He'll be thrilled, won't he? From Australia's longest-running sitcom, Hey Dad, to some of the biggest ad campaigns of the early 90s, Matthew Kroc was a star.
Early 90s, it was Kroc Mania. And not that anyone knew it, it was Fat Kid Mania.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the fat kid from Hey Dad.
I'm back.
Oh, no!
He was everywhere for a while. There was Hey Dad, there was the Dunny Paper commercial. He was huge. He was the kid du jour for a couple of years.
Or you can rap master it.
If I had been his mum, I'm not sure that I would have put him up for a role where he was going to be described as the fat kid.
I'm only 11 and I figure my use-by date is expired already.
It's got to be the cuteness factor that made him popular at that time. It's happened to a lot of child stars. They were cute and chubby and you could squeeze their cheek, and then they become awkward teenagers and we don't want to know about them anymore.
When I was young, being interviewed and people writing you up as the next Mel Gibson or whatever, they can kind of fill your head with these dreams.
But Matthew had a rude awakening when Hey Dad was axed in '94 and the commercial work dried up. So Matthew chose a different cross to bear.
In recent times, he's taken on a different role, door knocking for the Mormon Church.
Is he? Really?
A Mormon missionary. Wow, certainly a career change if ever I've heard one.
It makes me want to be a Mormon just to meet him. I just want to meet him and go, "You're the fat kid from Hey Dad."
Next, it's an incredible talent who almost threw it all away before she had a chance to really shine. At number 15, it's Jennifer Capriati, the tennis prodigy who stunned the sports world by turning professional at just 13 years of age.
And Jennifer Capriati has knocked out the defending champ.
At her peak, she was unstoppable.
Jennifer set a string of youngest ever records on the world tennis circuit.
It's pretty hard, though, isn't it? I mean, they all come around you and they're throwing questions at you.
Guy fell down the fence trying to get my autograph.
But the pressure was too much. Burnt out by 16, she quit the tour, rebelling against the discipline.
The teenage tennis star Jennifer Capriati has been arrested on charges of stealing jewellery.
She did the rebellious things, and unfortunately for her, because she was Jennifer Capriati, she's all over the front page of the papers because she gets caught shoplifting something that was worth a couple of dollars.
But things got worse. Jennifer was arrested in '94 for marijuana possession.
There were talks about how young is too young for a girl to go on the pro tour. She turned out to be a pretty good argument for not letting kids of that age onto the tour. No matter how talented they are, there's a whole lot of other demands, things other than your tennis ability.
The comeback trail wasn't easy. It took 6 years after her arrest for Jennifer to finally win a Grand Slam event.
No, she's done it!
Let's call this the comeback.
Jennifer didn't stop there, winning the French Open and reaching the semi-finals of Wimbledon and the US Open.
Oh, it's brilliant stuff.
By the end of 2001, she claimed the women's world #1 ranking.
To have the willpower and the courage to turn herself around and get back up to the top and then win one in the big time is a great story.
No doubt the girl had some tough years along the way, but in the end, she really showed us all the true champion that she is.
Starring at 14, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, the actor who made the leap from teen heartthrob to the Hollywood A-list.
Well, this is a great story. Most of these child stars kind of go off the rails and disappear, but Leo's come back from an early beginning, been Oscar nominated, and he dated a supermodel for 5 years. Tick the boxes.
I like to act. I think it'll get me ahead in life, you know.
He's done well, hasn't he? And he was so cute. Remember him in Growing Pains?
Oh, I was a surgeon at a doll hospital. You were not.
Well, it was just obvious that even back then he had charm and confidence on screen.
But it was his portrayal of a mentally handicapped teenager that stunned the critics.
When I first saw him, and he must have been in his early teens in a film called What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I knew that this was an exceptional performer. You could just see it.
Let's get Gilbert, okay?
A lot of people didn't know that he was acting. A lot of people thought perhaps this young man actually was retarded.
I did some acting at that age. Like, bad acting. He was like 16, just amazing.
I thought it was magnificent. I thought this boy will go far. And then he did, and then he went a bit too far and did Titanic. But he's redeemed himself since.
You kind of get the feeling with Leonardo DiCaprio that the best is yet to come. I mean, he has made a transition into being taken seriously as an adult actor, but you know there's more there.
I think he has matured into quite an incredible actor, and his performances in Blood Diamond and The Departed prove that Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the greatest actors of our generation.
At number 13, it's a young Aussie girl who stole the hearts of the whole world. Flying in at number 13, it's little Nikki Webster, who starred in the biggest show on earth, the opening and closing ceremonies of the 2000 Olympic Games.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I saw her coming down out of the sky. It was extraordinary.
She would have been the envy of every child in Australia.
Bravo, well done. Great thing for Australia.
For a while, Nikki was everywhere.
I've got my single coming out in a couple of weeks and I've just finished recording my album and my movie later on in the year.
Contracts with Movie World and a cosmetics company raised her profile even further. And the kid we loved became the subject of some very public jokes.
Judge Todd McKinney gave Nikki Webster one.
Apparently it was the first for both of them.
She copped it for a while so bad, and look, I must admit, somewhere along the way in one of my little radio ditties, I probably hung it on her as well, because she just asked to be hung it on.
She got a bit of criticism for singing kiddie kind of songs, but yeah, she was like 10. What do you want her to sing?
People knock me, but the thing is, still 7 years on, people are still singing Strawberry Kisses to me down the street. So, you know, that's my repayment.
When Nikki turned 18, she decided to shake off the child star tag.
You know, I think there's a great career path for every young Australian. At some stage, you're going to end up in lingerie.
When you are a child star, you're put in a time capsule, and people don't want to see you get older because they have that beautiful, innocent image of you. And when I started doing men's magazine, raunchier photo shoots, still very classy, it was really hard for people to grasp. Yes, they get older, but they don't expect you to get older as well.
Still ahead on 20 to 1.
I want to be a billionaire.
What you talking about, Willie?
Too much success, too much money, too much fame.
How can you be normal?
Let it go.
That was just the tip of the iceberg.
Mr. T has styled her.
Let's go out tonight. Let's sneak out.
Train wreck.
Welcome back to 20 to 1, Child Stars. Where are they now? If you were young and naive and missed the beginning of tonight's show, now that you're grown up, here's a quick peek at what you missed. At number 20, Home Alone and Unloved. At 19, everyone's wild about Harry. At 18, a chip off the old block. At 17, it's a bunch of child stars. Number 16 is the fat kid from Hey Dad. At 15, the tennis star aced by fame. At number 14, Leonardo the artist. At number 13, A Little Girl No More. And at number 12, it seems that being young, beautiful, talented, sexy and rich just doesn't bring happiness. But we're not here to talk about me. Britney Spears has similar problems.
Britney Spears.
This child performer and Mouseketeer had it all at 17 after her worldwide hit, Baby One More Time. But after 2 failed marriages, 2 children, and a series of very public mistakes, Britney's bubble has definitely burst.
She really is a lesson in what can go horribly wrong with too much success, too much money, too much fame, too many paparazzi, and I believe a stage mother thrown into the mix. It is a recipe for disaster.
She started as the Mickey Mouse cheerleader. You know, she might as well be a pole dancer now.
Britney, train wreck. Had it all. Starts drinking Coca-Cola when she's sponsored by Pepsi.
Love's not wearing the undies. She's not going to get a call from Bonds anytime soon. Hey, listen, Britney.
Saw her perform on the MTV Awards. I have to say, I just thought it was really sad.
Opening the MTV Music Awards, she looked stiff throughout her dance routine and appeared to forget some of the words during the lip-sync performance of her new single.
That was kind of her opportunity to go, right, I'm back. And apparently she was just out wasted the night before and just like, why would you do that?
Leave Britney alone!
But Britney has her defenders.
You're lucky she even performed for you bastards!
Including internet celebrity Chris Crocker whose love for Ms. Spears is strangely scary.
Leave Britney Spears alone right now!
Oh, I feel sorry for her. Because she was sweet and innocent and doing so well, and she had the market that was right for her, buying all her albums. And then I suppose you grow up, you try and shake off an image on a lady now, and that seems to be where it went horribly wrong.
You'd think someone that was raised in the public eye like that would have a little bit of media savviness about it, but she seems to have absolutely zip.
I just really hope she comes full circle, because it's just not looking promising at all.
Next up, another former child star who should be on Easy Street if only his parents hadn't stolen all of his money.
What you talking about, Willis?
Hitting the heights of 11th place is pint-sized Gary Coleman, who became a star aged 8 as Arnold in Different Strokes.
I've never seen a black goldfish before.
That's okay. He never saw a rich white man before either.
The sitcom about two orphan brothers raised by a kindly millionaire ran for 8 years, and Gary was a standout.
I still say, what you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
I said, what you talking about, Willis?
What are you talking about, Mr. D?
What you talking about, Mr. D?
He had 2 lines.
But at the end of its run, he was not only jobless, he was penniless. His parents had squandered his $20 million fortune.
How could you do that to your son? No wonder he sued them. I would have sued them as well. And I also would have sued them for the amount of times he had to wear a velour tracksuit on that show. Velour is very unforgiving.
Is exploitation of child stars still going on here in Hollywood?
Absolutely. Hollywood lives off of it.
Due to the kidney disease that stunted his growth, acting roles were hard to come by.
I'm down here. Hey, watch where you're going.
But he kept his sense of humour. These days, Gary's given up TV altogether.
Let me get this right. This little guy was last seen working as a security guard in a shopping centre.
That's the kind of guy I want protecting my business. Hands up. Who's talking?
At number 10, there's no need to adjust your TV sets. You really are seeing double. Yes, it's Sister Act Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, whose all-American looks and energy made them stars on the sitcom Full House before they could even walk.
You got it, dude.
Since then, they've doubled up as entrepreneurs with their phenomenally successful global brand.
They're worth millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
You know, we're like any other 16-year-old, except we're on TV sometimes, and we have a company.
Forbes magazine says the Olsens earned $40 million last year. They've been a money machine since 1987.
Every little thing that can be marketed with their face and their name attached to it is just all over the world.
Sportswear, swimwear, cosmetics, hair, hair care, their hair.
They could never work again in their whole life. They're my age, they're 21. I want to be a billionaire. Mum, why didn't you put me on a TV show when I was 2?
They've obviously been offered up on a plate by somebody as the sort of front people for a whole generation of young girls to aspire to, and then at the end, the whole thing just comes tumbling down.
Teen idol Mary-Kate Olsen has been admitted to a clinic for what the tabloids say is treatment for anorexia.
Have they both got anorexia, or is there just one of them with anorexia and the other one's feeding the other one? I don't know.
Donate some money to charity, write a book and go away, okay? That's what I say to the Olsen twins.
Big girls don't cry.
There are more tiny talents ahead on 20 to 1.
Screaming and yelling, destined to get herself into trouble.
She was an alcoholic.
I really was a party girl.
Good morning, Charlie.
Stop it. Jewelry and perfume.
Really, come on.
I'm willing to go with it.
Welcome back to 20 to 1. At number 9, for some lucky kids, success comes from being born with a silver spoon. But for our next star, success came from a silver chair. When Newcastle schoolboy Daniel Johns formed a band with his mates Chris Jonu and Ben Gillies, this was no ordinary garage band. This was Silverchair.
I was born the same year as Daniel Johns, so when he was on stage screaming and yelling with adoring fans, I was sitting up the back trying to get all the attention of those girls just loving him.
Over the school holidays, there was about 6 or 7 gigs we had, supporting bands at all workers' clubs and that, and they ended up saying you couldn't because we were too young.
Their debut album, Frog Stomp, sold 2.5 million copies and hit the US top 10.
I love the song Tomorrow. You know, the water out of the tap is very hard to drink. Very hard to drink. The water out of the tap is very hard to drink. They were talking about the bubblers at school. They'd captured on their life.
But after 3 acclaimed albums, stardom took its toll, with Johns revealing his battle with anorexia.
Eventually, he went public and actually confirmed that he had anorexia, and that was pretty rare for a male to actually go public and say that.
I just want to thank everyone who sent me get well cards.
With life turning around, Daniel's music evolved and Silverchair produced its best-selling album, Young Modern.
Shouldn't he have burnt out years ago? Why is the new album better than the last album? Stop it.
It's the first album in our whole career where I honestly would rather play all the new songs over anything else.
Not sure about the headband, Daniel, but I'm willing to go with it.
I think they're maestros, and I think Daniel Johns is going to go on and on and on and really do some special stuff. What a great Australian. Great Novocastrian too.
Up next is an incredible actress who achieved worldwide fame before she could legally drink. Not that that stopped her. Drunk with success at number 8 is little Drew Barrymore, 5th-generation actress and Hollywood wild child. The world first fell in love with Drew when she starred in the blockbuster E.T.
She was so cute as Gertie, wasn't she?
You want to call somebody?
But things took a dark turn, and Drew hit the bottle at 9, marijuana at 10, and cocaine by 13.
I really was a party girl. You know, let's go out tonight, let's sneak out, you know, let's go to the clubs, you know, and even though I was younger, it was very easy for me to do a lot of what I wanted.
This child was destined to get herself into trouble because, you know, mother and father were MIA. And sure enough, she was in rehab by 12, 13, 14, a couple of times.
Drew Barrymore's in rehab. At 13, I think I was squeezing pimples.
She made poor choices on screen as well.
Then she did Poison Ivy. That was the beginning of the comeback for Drew.
What a great film that was. What a great look for Drew. She's a cute young girl, Drew.
Her godfather, Steven Spielberg, sent her a quilt for her 20th birthday. And there was a little note stuck to it that said, "Cover yourself up."
Drew finally found her niche in romantic comedies.
That's wonderfully sensitive, Alex. Especially from a man who wears such tight pants.
And as a highly successful producer.
Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, Charlie.
I believe that no matter where you come from, as good or as bad as it is, you can make your dreams come true.
Power to Drew Barrymore. She's gone through a lot and come out the other side smelling like roses.
Ron Howard.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Number 7. It's one of Hollywood's true all-stars, Ron Howard, who went from clean-cut child actor to teen star of Happy Days before becoming one of the world's most successful movie directors.
Ron Howard is one of the rare stories of a child star who's probably gone on to greater success as an adult.
By the age of 6, Ron had appeared in 6 films, but his iconic TV roles also made him a star of the small screen.
Seems to me my pa would have told me if that's so.
Those scenes as little Opie, Ron Howard is so aware as like a 5-year-old. You almost look at him as a 5-year-old knowing what comes next, that he's going to do Happy Days.
He said he did something because everybody else said they did, and he didn't want to be the only one. So he said he did, but he didn't because she wouldn't, and he was embarrassed he didn't.
Then he lost his hair, and I think that's probably why he became a director.
Okay, action!
In fact, Ron's directing has eclipsed his acting, with over 20 films and multiple awards, including 2 Oscars for A Beautiful Mind.
Well, he's the success story to come out of Happy Days, isn't he? Amazing movies, a $700 million turnover. I mean, what did Ralph Malph ever do?
He's had great success in that he's been able to make commercial hits, but also critical hits. I mean, he's a brilliant director, and he gets along with Russell Crowe. They have a great relationship, so anyone who can pull off all those things is doing something right.
Ron credits his success to his mum and dad.
I always felt loved. I never felt that my parents' love or an affection depended in any way, shape or form on how I was doing at the set.
No scandals, no tabloid headlines, just a nice guy who went from being a nice little boy with obviously sensible parents into becoming this iconic Oscar-winning movie director.
Happy Days. There's more to come on 20 to 1.
That girl can sing.
A very talented child actor.
That was such a different time.
Bring them back.
He was an incredible actor.
I'm just trying to save your life.
Who knows what it's all about?
Your muscles.
Oh my gosh.
It's not going to end well.
Welcome back to 20 to 1 Child Stars. Where are they now? At number 6 is model and actress Brooke Shields, who caused a storm when she played a child prostitute aged just 12.
I can feel the steam inside me right through my dress.
Oh, Brooke Shields, the brow, we used to call her at school. How good was the brow?
But it was Blue Lagoon that really made her name.
I can't believe they would let someone the age of 14 or 15, which Brooke Shields was, do a movie like Blue Lagoon. I mean, did her parents actually let her watch the movie after it was made? Oh my gosh. What are they doing? They're nude. They're nude. They've got no clothes on.
How much did you want to be in Blue Lagoon? I wanted to be in Blue Lagoon with that boy with that ridiculous perm.
What are you looking at?
Your muscles.
What about it?
Controversy never hurts, and Brooke was in vogue around the world, fronting provocative ad campaigns, including an infamous Calvin Klein jeans ad.
You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing.
I think the same thoughts that go through every other teenager's mind. I'm scared. You know, I'll miss my bed and my mom and dog and house and everything.
It was all very much driven by the mother, Terry, who was her manager and very much a stage mother.
In 1983, Brooke quit acting and studied French literature at Princeton University. Apart from a brief marriage to Andre Agassi in 1999, Brooke kept a low profile. But 5 years into her second marriage, she hit the headlines when her postnatal depression got Tom Cruise fired up.
Shields and Cruise were involved in a very public slanging match after he attacked her for using antidepressants.
Now, who is Tom Cruise to tell anybody what medication they can and can't take? Really, come on.
And then she sold out. She went to the wedding. What was that about?
I don't know, Hollywood. Who knows what it's all about?
At number 5, fame in the entertainment industry can be fleeting. Sadly, so can life.
The movie career has been cut short with the sudden death of rising young actor River Phoenix.
In a short but brilliant life, River Phoenix died from a drug overdose at age 23 outside a Hollywood hotspot, the Viper Room.
The story of River Phoenix is so sad because he was a very talented child actor. You see the films that he did and you can see what could have become a major screen talent.
River's breakout role was in the film Stand By Me, portraying a young kid from the wrong side of the tracks.
I'm just trying to save your life, man. You want to kill yourself? Is that what you want, goddammit? You're trying to kill yourself.
The rising star became hot Hollywood property, even landing the role of a young Indiana Jones.
so tragic when he died. He was an incredible actor, and we all thought we were going to marry him.
That bright future was cut short last night when Phoenix collapsed outside this Hollywood nightclub.
Seizures on Sunset and Larrabee, please come here. He had Valium or something, I don't know. She's trying to give him mouth to mouth. Sir, calm down.
He died in hospital 50 minutes later.
A post-mortem report on River's body revealed a massive cocktail of drugs.
Marijuana, heroin, amphetamines, cocaine, cough syrup and alcohol.
The one that I don't understand is the cough syrup. Maybe he was feeling a bit off that day.
It actually, sadly, becomes woven into the sort of glamour of Hollywood in a way.
Just such wasted potential. A beautiful person just cut short. Not even in their prime, didn't even get to their prime.
I've had a pretty good life, but very kind of random at times and exciting.
They were young, fresh-faced, and an iconic part of Saturday nights in Australia. At number 4, it's the entire cast of Young Talent Time.
I don't know that Young Talent Time could ever be replicated. You know, it was supposed to last 6 weeks, it lasted 18 years.
I used to fight with my brother and my father because the football was on at the same time.
Created and hosted by pop star Johnny Young, the series showcased Australia's brightest young talent.
What a wonderful variety show. Bring them back.
Just enjoy it till it's over.
That was such a different time, wasn't it?
Thumbelina, what's the difference if you're very small?
And to keep the talent young, the axe was dropped on their 16th birthday.
Yeah, it's a bit like you're out, 16, so you gotta go.
If this world makes you crazy.
And everyone had a favourite team member.
I used to look at Danny Minogue and go, I can do so much better. God, I wanted my dad to wait outside Young Talent Time and accidentally give Danny Minogue a nudge with the car so I could take her place.
My all-time favourite was Tina Arena, ever in the whole wide world.
Tina bloody Arena. That girl can sing. When she left, the show kind of went downhill for me.
By God, if it wasn't for Young Talent Time, I wouldn't be sitting here in a studio in Paris and travelling the world and creatively, you know, working with different people.
Tina became one of Australia's most successful solo artists. As for the rest, most have continued in showbiz, but we'll always remember them as being forever young.
Australia.
After the break, we reveal our top 3 child stars. Welcome back to 20 to 1 as we reach our top 3 child stars. And in third spot is one of the most talented kids the world has ever seen. But when he grew up, he just refused to act his age. Michael Jackson was born to entertain, from fronting the Jackson 5 at age 8 to mega stardom in his 20s and 30s, then disgrace in the public eye.
Michael Jackson's story is so sad and it has all the ingredients of celebrity gone horribly wrong. But in his case, it was married with such unbelievable talent.
I Want You Back is still one of my favourite songs of all time, and I can't believe that it's like a 9-year-old kid singing it.
The wonderful thing about it is the purity of his voice at age 9 was still there many